On a quiet little street, in a tiny shop full of clocks, sat a very special clock named Tick-Tock. Tick-Tock didn't just tell time. Tick-Tock could travel through it. One afternoon, a curious kid named Milo walked into the shop. "Wow," Milo said. "So many clocks." "Tick-Tock? Tick-Tock." Suddenly, a cheerful voice spoke. "Tick-Tock." "Hello?" Milo jumped. The clock had just talked. "Hi there," said the golden clock with a friendly grin. "My name is Tick-Tock. I'm the most adventurous clock you'll ever meet." Milo blinked in surprise. "You're a talking clock?" "Of course," Tick-Tock replied proudly. "I keep track of time, and sometimes I even visit it." Milo's eyes grew wide with excitement. "Well then," Milo said, "maybe you can help me understand something. What does before and after mean?" Tick-Tock spun his hands slowly while thinking. He said dramatically, "This question requires a time adventure." Suddenly, Tick-Tock began to glow. Golden sparkles swirled around the shop. "Hold on tight," Tick-Tock said. "Time travel can feel a little spinny." Whoosh! In a flash of light, Milo and Tick-Tock landed in a familiar place. Milo looked around. "Wait, this is my kitchen." The table was empty. The cereal box was still closed. Tick-Tock smiled. "This is before breakfast." Just then, Tick-Tock spun his hands again. Whoosh! Suddenly, the table was messy. Bowls were empty, crumbs were everywhere. Milo laughed. "Whoa, what happened?" Tick-Tock chuckled. "That, my friend, is after breakfast." Milo scratched his head. "Oh, I think I get it. Before means something happens earlier, and after means something happens later." Tick-Tock beamed proudly. "You're catching on already. But let's try a much bigger example." Tick-Tock spun his hands even faster. Whoosh! Suddenly, the kitchen disappeared. They landed in a giant jungle. The ground shook. Thud, thud, thud. A giant dinosaur stomped past. Milo froze. Tick-Tock? Yes?" said the clock calmly. "I think we're somewhere very before." Tick-Tock nodded. "Indeed, this is before people built cities." Milo whispered nervously. "This must also be before pizza existed." Tick-Tock gasped. "A tragic time in history." Just then, Tick-Tock spun his hands again. Oosh, the dinosaurs vanished. Tall buildings appeared. Cars zoomed past. Bright city lights sparkled everywhere. Milo looked around in amazement. "Whoa," Tick-Tock explained. "This is after dinosaurs." Just then, a wise old owl swooped down from a nearby sign. "Excellent lesson," hooted Professor Owl. "But you forgot something very important." Tick-Tock tilted his face. "Oh, and what might that be?" Professor Owl puffed out his feathers. "Stories. Stories also follow time." He drew 3 shapes in the air with his wing. First comes the before, then comes the middle, and finally comes the after. Milo's eyes sparkled. "Oh, just like this adventure." Tick-Tock laughed. "Exactly. Well then," he said, "time to go home." He spun his hands one last time. Whoosh! They returned to the cozy clock shop. The clocks ticked softly on the walls. Milo smiled proudly. "I understand now. Before is what happens first, and after is what happens next." Tick-Tock nodded happily. "You've mastered the magic of time." Then Tick-Tock leaned closer and whispered, "Just remember one important thing. Homework comes before cartoons." Milo groaned dramatically. "Oh no!" Tick-Tock laughed. "But don't worry," he said with a wink. "Time adventures are never really over, because every story has a before, a middle, and an after. And sometimes, the next adventure begins right now."